Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be. Welcome back to the Same Old Arsenal podcast. Pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for listening. If you are listening on iTunes or SoundCloud, thank you very much. We have reached the end of the season. And again, what can we say? It's just been the same old Arsenal. Yes, people have called me a genius for the name of this podcast. Hopefully next year I'll have to change the name, but we'll see. We shall see. Joining us this evening on the show, some people you've seen before. We have Harry. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks, Craig. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Not a problem, mate. Not a problem, mate. And thank you for your extra time shows.
Thank you very much. I hope people are enjoying them.
Very enjoyable.
Good stuff.
Hopefully we'll try and get going as well for next year. After every game. A man who needs no introduction, the voice of reason, Mr. Claude. How are you, sir?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
My right-hand man. He's my amp to my deck. He's my laurel to my hardy. Mr. Lee Judges, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm very good. Thank you very much. Evening, everybody. Evening, everybody.
And of course, back with us this evening, ex-Arsenal wonder striker. I'll call you a wonder striker, Kevin. Don't worry about that. It's Mr. Kevin Campbell. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Hello to everybody, and glad that you asked me on. And I hope we have a great show tonight. It's going to be a cool cut. I'm sure it's going to be one.
I'm sure it is. We'll be going for about an hour maximum. So don't forget, I've tweeted out we're going to take some questions live this evening. So if you want to ask anyone a question, hit us up on Twitter. But please use the hashtag SameOldPod for housekeeping. The end of the season is here. Another disappointing season. A 6th place finish. 3 points away from home in all of 2018. I believe I'm correct in saying it's our lowest points tally for 40 years. That stat came up the other day. Harry, let's start with you, mate. A very disappointing season. I was quite optimistic at the start of it. But, what do I know? I've been proven wrong again, mate. I think I jinxed Granit Xhaka. First game of the season, I tweeted out Granit Xhaka, Player of the Year incoming. So I'm not going to do that anymore. A disappointing season overall, Harry.
Yeah, it has been a disappointing season. It's very difficult to analyse Arsenal's season, I feel, until it's over. Because we get caught up in the emotions, we get wrapped up in the emotions of it all. And, I can look at another team's season and I can analyse it pretty early on. But with us, it's difficult because you're always wanting more. And I mean, it has been a bad season. We finished in 6th place, which is obviously far from ideal. But we have gone to the League Cup final and we did get to a European semi-final. So, I mean, on the sort of cup side of things, it hasn't been a disaster. But in terms of league position, it's just not been good enough. And the away form especially has been really costly. And, I mean, fortunately, we managed to pick up a point or 3 points in 2018 eventually. But you know what? It's been a disappointing season. You're right. You're spot on. I guess I'm trying to look for some positives. But, overall, not great, not ideal. And then hopefully on to better things next season.
Absolutely. Claude, how's the season been for you, mate?
That about sums it up. It's the worst. It's put it this way: it's the worst season under Arsenal, isn't it? Of all the seasons, 22 years, and that's why he's going. I can only say three players that can out the whole squad that got any credibility from this season. Maitland-Niles for me, young up and coming. I think Nacho Monreal and Aubameyang for these 10 goals since February. Other than that, the other lot, well, let's not can't say too much about them. Can
No, we certainly can't, unfortunately.
It's not good enough. Need a new manager to shake it all up again. Let's hope we get the right man. This Arteta nonsense. I hope that doesn't come off. And let's hope we get a proper top organised again, and let's get all this the comfort zone removed from the dressing room as well.
Absolutely. Lee Judges, what about you, sir? Travelled to most away games. I would imagine went to all the home games. You know, but what you're sitting there tonight, and we're doing an end of the season show. Can you sum up the season in 3 words?
Tough, hard, disappointing. Are the 3 words that I'd use. It's been a
there, but there you go. Go on.
Well, it's been tough. It's been a tough season. I think it's been not good enough. I look at it, right. I don't know if everybody agrees with me. We've come bottom of the league. We're bottom of the league. I think there's only 6 teams that can challenge for the title at the moment, and we've come bottom of that. 6. You know what I mean? Like, we're never going to be relegated. We're never going to be like that because of the financial power that we've got. And it's just been, the same old Arsenal, same old thing as it is. I know that's what you wanted me to say, like, you know what I mean? So I just think that it's been hard work. The last few games, particularly, like I got up for Huddersfield, 9:00, and I went out on Saturday. Where did I go Saturday night? I can't remember now. Went on a charity football match, like with all me, like Tony and all that lot. And I thought I can't go too mad because I've got to be up in the morning. But part of me was thinking, I might as well stay here. I didn't want to go. You know what I mean? Like, and it was hard work going there, and coming home. On the way home, we was talking about the season and everything, like, and it's just been not good enough. I would add Aaron Ramsey into the players that could walk away this season with his head held high. The rest of them, no, it's been a real poor season. I think that the players, as well as everything else, have let the manager down this season as well. Whether they're known that he's going or not, I don't know. Sometimes if you know that, it doesn't make you play as much. But to me, it's just been a real difficult game. We've gone away from home this season, guys. Swansea, Bournemouth in particular. And they've ridiculed us. They've took the mick out of us. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't even it was bad enough when Chelsea and Man United were doing it, but now we've got
for the first time either, mate, is it?
No, we've got Swansea now having Swansea, by the way, got relegated, but we're laughing at us. You know what I mean? Bournemouth, you know what I mean? Like, and Huddersfield give us a lot of stick on good banter, I have to say, but it's just been a difficult season, and I'm glad that it's over, and now we've got the soap opera of what's going to happen now. Like, I can't take too much of this. 1 minute it's Arteta, next minute it's so and so. Like, I can't handle it. I really just want to switch off for it.
Go into hibernation.
Yeah, because I'm worried that we're not going to get the right manager. I'm really worried about that. You know what I mean? The last 3 years have been painful watching Arsenal. You know what I mean? And the one thing, the shining light, is that one day Arsene Wenger would hang up his coaching manual. And someone else would come in, up and come in, top manager. And at this minute, we've seen people like Guardiola go, we've seen Klopp go, we've seen all these managers go because Arsene Wenger's, stayed on. And now he's not staying on. We're not linked with anyone decent. You know what I mean? It's a big worry. So, and it just sums up the season. So this season, it's been a joke season, and I'm glad it's all over. Crystal Palace song, by the way.
Kevin, how the season? You're an Arsenal fan as well, like us. The season, as we've all said, it's been very, very disappointing. Kevin, how many players that are in this squad at the moment can you see staying? You might be able to, see them all staying, or do you think there's going to be a massive, massive shake-up?
I don't think there's going to be a massive shake-up. Look, the season's been disappointing, especially away from home. I think the home form has been... That's what's kept the ship afloat, to be honest. Kept just some of the fan base sane. Because, we've lost, only 2 games at... We lost only 2 games at home. But the away form, especially from the new year, has been so un-Arsenal-like, it's been embarrassing. And when you look at the actual squad, you go through it, the only players I think who really are safe is probably Ramsey, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Mkhitaryan, and possibly Ozil if he could shake off the back injury and the sick notes. I don't think there's any other player you can say is a stick-on guaranteed to be in that team.
Yeah, I was very worried. I mean, if we're not talking about stick-on players, let's go on to that. I mean, Claude, out of that team now, who would you be shipping out, and who would you be looking to replace?
Out would go for me. Xhaka would go out. Let's go. Let's go from top to the goalkeeper. The two goalkeepers, I'm not sure about. I think we need a decent. Maybe keep Czech as number 2, but we need a decent goalkeeper. I wouldn't mind that keeper from Atletico Madrid. The whole back 4 to me can go. Not good enough. Sorry, Xhaka's not good enough. As Kevin just said, Ramsey's. I think I'll keep Ramsey. Up until the last couple of months, I wanted Jack to stay, but I'm not sure whether Jack has got the fitness level to now to play at this level anymore. It's hard for me to say this, but let him go. Keep the strikers. I'd keep the strikers. Aubameyang. Keep Ozil, who seems to have more holidays than Judith Chalmers. I don't know. Needs to pick up the backside.
Don't you hurt his back?
Yeah, you'll hurt him.
Yeah, we've already got 4 bad backs as it is. So, but anyway, I would. That's how I would go at the moment. I'm not sure about this. I'm going to give him the benefit for the one season. The new guy, the left
Kolasinac.
Yeah, I'm going to give him the benefit of that. It's his first season. I'm not too keen on him at the moment, but I'm going to give him another 6 months, I suppose. Apart from that, actually, Monreal hasn't done too bad. Wasn't very good, but I thought Monreal to me was our best player this season. That says a lot, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah,
It does, mate. It does. So I mean, look, if we're talking about Mkhitaryan, Aubameyang, Ozil, Lacazette, and Ramsey. So I mean, we're looking for 2 new wingers and a whole new back 4, including the goalkeeper. With this rumoured £50 million budget, we ain't going to get it, are we, Lee?
No, well, we're going to have to make a bit of money, aren't we? Like by selling a few. If we were to sell Xhaka for, we're not going to get nowhere near the money that we bought him for. So I'd say 20 million. The same for Mustafi, 20. That gives us another 40 million. And maybe Danny Welbeck's in the last year of his contract. If he's not going to sign it, then we've got to ship him out as well. But I think he gives us something different, Danny. I have to be honest. You know what I mean? He came on Sunday, and he just gives you just a bit more impetus in that last 20-25 minutes. But if you get good money for him, I'd look to do that. So that would be the ones that I would out. You know what I mean? To keep that, I'd keep Chambers and the Greek guy as backups, but we've got to buy 2 central defenders. Because Koscielny's out now. That's that. No sentimental feelings in that. He's got to go. Mertesacker's got to be replaced because he's actually now left. Well, gone on to the coaching staff. So there's Bellerin. I know Bellerin gets a lot of stick and all that, but I'm gonna say, look, stick with him because under a new coach to see what he can do. I think that's something that we've got to do there. We're crying out for a wide player that's going to get into the wide positions and take players on. I watched Mkhitaryan on, it was because there was no pressure on the game. We just watched it a little bit. I like Mkhitaryan. I think he's a good player, but every time he attacks down the flank, he cuts inside. We need someone that's going to go the other way, go outside, and then hit the byline and bring things. Aubameyang does it on the other side. He does it really well, but what I do like Aubameyang because he can play. Well, I think he can play all those 3 positions. If that's the way we're going to go, he does them. He drifts into the middle. He drifts out wide. He drifts out to the right-hand side, the left-hand side. He does really well. But I feel that we've got to get a wide player. When you look at, if we're going to, you look at Manchester City, they've got pace to burn on their flanks, pace with Sane and Sterling. We've got to start matching that up. We've not got that. We've not got that in our wide areas. We've played Ozil out there for so long. If we're going to play this system that we're playing at the moment, that's another one. Ozil doesn't fit into it. He's not a wide player. He's not, he's being put out on the left. So the new manager's got to come in and say, I've got to find a position for him, or that's another one that unfortunately we're going to have to sell. So, and if we can get 40, 50 million for him, there's some more towards the budget. But what I want to see is two blistering, pacey players down the flanks. I look at Iwobi all the time. He comes to, always looking to cut inside all the time. He's not really a natural wide player. And I think that's all we've got to do, get some natural width to this team.
Lee, what system would you play then? Because if you're going to put two pacey players wide, and you've got Aubameyang, you got Lacazette, and you got Ramsey, what's the system?
Well, I'm saying that if we play that system now of that 4-3-3, you know what I mean? Like you're going to have to let one. I would say like Mkhitaryan can go onto the left side of the three. You've got to play. You've got to be ruthless, haven't you? You've got Ramsey, Ozil, and Mkhitaryan to play that role. Only one of them can play it, Kevin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and we've got to make sacrifices. You know what I mean? And but I don't know about you, but I don't want to see Mkhitaryan playing out as a left winger when he's not playing as a left winger. I don't want to see Ozil playing there. If Ozil's not going to play in that system where he can play in just be like, you could sort of play those three wide players, then one holding midfield player and two holding midfielders, if you like a proper holding midfield player, Aaron Ramsey next to it, and then you've got your Ozil or Mkhitaryan in that little free role just behind.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I would go, but that, it means you've got to either let that means there's going to be no place for Jack on a regular basis. But we've got to be ruthless. The team at the moment, Kev, isn't good enough because it comes sixth in the league. So
yeah,
there's got to be changes. There's got to be changes.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say, hello,
go on.
The only thing I say really natural with that don't cut in. Do you know where I'm coming from, Lee?
Say that again, Claude.
Isn't that many that keep to the line, wingers that keep to the line now these days, is there? There's not that many lateral wingers about, is there?
No, they're right. I get that, but you ever look at Sterling and Sane, you look at them, and the reason I look at them is because they just won the league with 100 points. So they do come, but when they get onto that wide area, they go past the fullback. They go past the fullback with either pace or skill, and then they get to the byline and cut it back for little tap-ins like for Jesus and Aguero. We don't do that. You know what I mean? Where it comes from, I look at on Sunday. I see Lacazette in those sort of areas, and I see Aubameyang in those areas. I want to see proper wide players in those areas, or a wide player. If you look at our real top sides of what we've always gone and won things, we've had it with Overmars, we've had it with Lundberg, we've had it with we've had it with these pacey players. Always had a top wide player. And we've got to get one. Who that is, there's lots of talk about Malcolm. We went for it last season with Lamar, but that never happened. So that's I would go anyway.
Harry,
I think it's a system thing rather than being down to the personnel. Sorry, because if you look at Manchester City, like you said, Raheem Sterling is a player who likes to come inside as well, and so does Sane quite a bit. What it is with Manchester City, though, and I don't know if you guys remember when Thierry Henry first joined Sky Sports, he was talking about Pep Guardiola and the way he used to set up his Barcelona team. And they are asked, their starting position is to be on the touchline in order to stretch their opponent, create the space, and then come inside. And that's why they're so effective, either going the outside way or going inside, because they've got two options. Whereas with Arsenal, it all seems to be very narrow, and our starting position is narrow. Therefore, you get the ball in a sort of inside position, and then if you're not going to beat the fullback, you end up playing a really narrow game for the entire match. And whereas Pep's players do like to cut in, but they start from a wider position, and that's why they always appear to have much more space, I think.
Good point, mate. Very good point. So let me come to each of you then, and let's start breaking this down. If a good offer come in for Ozil, Harry, would you be happy for him to go?
Yeah, I would, to be honest. I don't think I would have even signed him on that new deal. I mean, I know they've done it because obviously it adds value to the player having him on sort of a long-term deal, and I get all of that. But I just think if the reports are true that we're only going to have £50 million to spend or whatever they're saying, a big factor in that is the fact that we've given Ozil this mega contract. And if this guy is going to be, out injured all the time for whatever reason, off sick, whatever the problem is, then you know what? I think that's been a bad decision. And I just worry that as good as he is, Mesut Ozil is a luxury player and he needs to play in a team where he's protected and is able to go out there and play his game. We're not at that level. Therefore, we're asking Mesut Ozil to do things that aren't natural to him. And so we're not getting the best out of him. He's going to get fed up as well. You can see it sometimes in his attitude. And I get it. Some people say, don't take it to heart, the way he acts, the way he sort of like sulks and stuff. But for me, that's a big factor because that sort of thing contributes to the fan opinion of him. And, at the time when he signed, we were all over the moon. But as things have developed, I think a lot of people have sort of changed their tune on that one.
Kevin, what about you? If you had the chance, someone came in, 40, 50 million pound offer, would you let Mesut Ozil go?
It all depends, I'll be honest. For me, I don't think Ozil's ever had the supporting cast that he needs in order to excel, to get the best out of him. So if the new man comes in and isn't going to get the supporting cast, fair enough, then you could cash in. I think we're missing a massive opportunity with Ozil right now because a new man coming in is going to see the quality he's got and probably will understand. Unfortunately, Arsene Wenger, I think this was what frustrated a lot of fans because everyone could see what the issues were in the team, but they never got addressed. So, Ozil's never had a defense or a defensive midfield player that he can rely on, who could do the clean-up work. Yeah. So I think if the new man's going to come in and not address that issue, fair enough, I'd cash in on Ozil.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, see, we don't know what's going to happen, do we? I mean, new manager might come in and make a system, make a formation that fits Ozil in, that fits Ramsey in. Do you know? We just don't know what's going to happen. So,
well, they're going to have to.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
When you consider a new manager coming in, Arsenal only picked up 3 points this calendar year. Only 3 points. So, at home, you could be a bit more free-flowing. But when you're away from home, that's where your system really kicks in. Yeah. You really got to be able to defend and rely on the players. And Arsenal they've just been unreliable this season, to be honest.
I believe that personally that you need 2 defensive midfielders to get the best out of Ozil. I think you need 2 because what's happening at the moment, for example, let's say, for example, we're playing Xhaka, Ramsey and Ozil. That's the midfield sort of triangle. What you end up with is Ozil sort of pulling out to the left to try and make things happen. You end up with Ramsey getting beyond the striker more often than not. And then we lose possession. And Granit Xhaka's not the most mobile of players anyway. And then whoever our defensive midfielder is just gets pulled from pillar to post. And we saw it happen even when Mikel Arteta was in that position. So this is not a problem exclusive to Granit Xhaka. This is a system problem that we've seen for years and years and years, and nothing's been done about it. And that makes Mesut Ozil look worse, in my opinion.
I'm going to come back to Granit Xhaka, and I want to ask Claude about Ozil. Would you let him go, Claude?
I would give the new guy, see if he can kick him into shape because you've got to look at the players around him. There's no move. I mean, I watched him at Atletico Madrid game, yeah? He got a lot of stick for that. But where was the movement in front of him? No one was making that. He needs players in front of him to make the move. So that what he's good at is giving that pass, that killer pass. He's not a player that will go up and defend and he is a special. I don't like too many away games.
You're breaking up there, Claude.
Against the big side, he has gone missing. But at home games, he seems to play much better. Let's see what the new manager can get out of him. That's why I'll wait on the Ozil.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, mate. I have to agree with you there. So Ozil to stay. I think I agree with Kevin, and I agree with Claude. I just want to see what the new manager can do with him, especially if the new manager can get Lacazette and Aubameyang into the same team and playing up front. I think. I mean, Ozil's very poor statistics this season. I think Granit Xhaka's only got one less assist than Mercer Ozil this year. And Granit Xhaka comes in for all this stick. Granit Xhaka actually made the most successful passes in the whole division.
Sorry, go again, Craig. What did you say?
Granit Xhaka has made the most successful passes in the whole of the Premier League this year.
Yeah, but that stats are very deceiving, mate. You can how many of them passes? Stats are very, very deceiving, mate. Yeah.
You think so? I don't.
Yeah. Listen, in that role there, if he's in that role, he makes 5 passes like to the left back, 5-10 yards. You know what I mean? Under no pressure whatsoever. No, I don't. You know, stats are
stats lie.
Stats lie. Exactly.
Well, I think Granit Xhaka has taken too much stick, in my opinion. Like we've all said,
he's done all right towards the end of the season. I've got to say that.
Like Harry said, it's not a Granit Xhaka problem; it's a system problem. Mm. You know, he's not as bad as everyone is making out to be.
Agreed.
He's not.
I don't think he's that bad, Craig. But at the end of the day, he's not doing what he was asking to do. He's not been bought. He was bought, as far as I was concerned, to be this great dominant.
Defensive midfield
player, and he's not done it.
That's the thing, guys. That's the thing. He's not a defensive midfield player. He's he's a deep lying midfield player. A bit like Andrea Pirlo was, where his job is to spray the ball left and right, except he does it from a slightly deeper position than a traditional centre midfielder.
Yeah, but we don't need that, do we, Harry?
No, we don't. But that's what Granit Xhaka is. Right, regardless of what Wenger's used him for, that's what Granit Xhaka always has been.
Harry, hold on a minute, Harry. He was brought in as this tough tackling midfielder. Let's have it right here.
Yeah, totally.
That's the way he was brought in. Fair enough. I understand what you say about he was deep lying. But we was told that he's got so many red cards in the Bundesliga. He's a tough tackling player.
Kevin, that's the thing. We wasn't told he's a defensive midfield player. The media assumed he was a defensive midfield player because of the amount of red cards he had. It's two different things. Wenger never came out and said, I've signed a defensive midfield player. Wenger said, I've signed a midfield player. We looked at the statistics and saw he got X amount of red cards and went, oh, good, he's a tough tackler. That means he's a defensive midfield player. That's my point. I don't think he was intended to be what we wanted him to be. Whether that's Wenger's mistake, in my opinion. You know, the guy, in my view, has been played out of position. He's been hung out to dry, just like Mikel Arteta was before him.
Well, he shouldn't have been bought then, should he?
No,
that's absolutely not. Yeah,
because again, the issues that Arsenal have, they haven't been addressed.
Absolutely,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, to think that it was Kante or Xhaka.
Oh, jeez.
You know,
well, that's the one we wanted, wasn't it?
That's the rumor. The rumor on the street was Kante was coming to Arsenal.
Well, we needed him,
and wanted to come.
And wanted to come to Arsenal, but then he decided on Granit Xhaka. So,
away.
Absolutely wasted opportunity there.
And that's not. And as Harry says, that's not Xhaka's fault.
It's not. No. That's why I think he's come under a lot of, some of the things I've seen tweeted about him. And
so we're all agreeing then, Craig, he's got to be sold, yeah, because he's not what we've.
Again, the new man might want him. The new man might see what Harry sees in him, what I see in him, what the other people that think he's a good player see in him.
Yeah, but he can't defend.
So then perhaps he might not be used as a defensive player.
Well, so is he better than Ramsey going forward?
No.
Is he better than Mkhitaryan or Ozil? No.
Well, I haven't seen him going forward.
Well, I have. I've seen him going forward. But if he's not a defensive midfielder and he's a deep line player, that's not what we need deep.
No, it's not what we need, but that's what he is. And so for us to sit here and criticize him for not doing a job that he's never done throughout his career, I just think is a little bit harsh. I would like to see Xhaka alongside a proper defensive midfield player to be the one to pick up the ball off that player when he wins it back. And then, you know, he's got a great passing range. All right, sometimes they go a bit wayward, but we know he can pick out a pass.
Hold on, when who wins it back? You've just said that he's not that type of player.
No, when I said if we had another defensive midfield player next to him.
Yeah, but he won't be playing.
So yeah, but that's my point. That's my point.
You're going to leave out Ramsey or Wilshere, then, isn't you?
He's not going to play.
Yeah, I am, because it's either, in my opinion, it's either Ozil or Ramsey. You play both, and we're too exposed defensively.
Right, yeah. So at the end of the day, if you're saying to me, this is my opinion, it comes down, we get the proper holding midfield player in, like Seri, say he comes in, he's the proper holding midfield player. You're saying that you'd prefer to have Xhaka in front of Ramsey and Ozil, Ramsey and Wilshere. Well, I wouldn't. I'd rather have Ramsey or Wilshere playing that role than Xhaka.
That's only opinion, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, obviously,
sell him.
Lee has mentioned Jean-Michel Seri there. If you're watching and you don't know, apparently we've opened talks with him, the defensive midfield player from Nice. Say that again, Claude.
Not spectacular. What about?
You're breaking up, Claude. We can't hear you.
Like Nsonzi, bring someone like that in.
Nsonzi's
been spoken about before, yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, I do too.
I like him.
He could come
probably play left wing though. He will, won't he?
I believe from what I've been reading, this Seri lad is, you know, supposed to be the real deal.
Yeah. He's supposed to be really good, but
really good. So we'll see. We'll see. I think he's got a release clause of 35 million. He's young. I think he's only still in his 20s. So,
but we've got a problem, guys. If we sign him, that leaves only 15 million. If there's only
that'll get his feet.
I don't think there's going to be only 50 million. No chance.
So it'd be 16. You know what I mean?
I just think we can't write off players until we see who the new manager is and how he's going to use it.
Absolutely. But we can still tell people what we think.
Yeah.
So we're halfway through the show, right? So it's the last show of the season. So me and Lee have got a few surprises up our sleeve. So we at the Same Old Arsenal have promoted a lad called Charlie Shanks, who does pen and ink drawings of all different Arsenal players. He does them of the past Arsenal players. He does them of the present Arsenal players. Now, if you haven't seen his work, please go and follow him at Charda Shanksy. Okay, so that's at CHARDASHANKSI. Charda Shanksy. Have a look at his work. Now, nicely, and I can't believe he's done it, to be honest with you. Lee only said it to me off air. He has given us a pen and ink drawing of none other than Kevin Campbell to give away to one of you lucky people. Now, Lee is going to get Kevin to put his autograph on it, so that makes it even more desirable. So, Kevin, if you don't mind, when you see Lee next time, you might put your old squiggle on the picture.
It'll be a pleasure.
Thank you very much, mate. Now, to win the prize, two things you've got to do.
Well, it's exciting, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah. To win the prize, you have got to go and follow Charlie. Go and follow him. Okay, and Charlie will pick a name at random. So what you've got to do is you've got to go and follow him, and you've got to use the hashtag #SameOldArsenal after you've followed him. So follow him and then send him a tweet, #SameOldArsenal hashtag, okay? And he will pick a winner at random. Also, me and Lee have got a little something to be given away. Lee, what is it? Drum roll, drum roll. It's a set of badges as well, isn't it?
What's it called?
A power bank.
Thank you, thank you. Look at this. I'll put it up to the camera so everybody can see it. It's an Arsenal power bank, yeah? right? Exclusive to Arsenal. Now, Kevin might know about these. You get them in the hospitality at Arsenal, like, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Right, and I've got one, right, and I'm giving it away. Giving it away. You know what I mean? So
the question is...
The question for this one is, well, there's two things you've got to do to win this one as well. You've got to subscribe to the channel and you've got to put in the comment box, power bank. Okay? So that's the first bit. The second bit is, there's a shirt behind Lee. Everyone's seen the shirt every week or every other week. That shirt is signed by Lee's favourite player. Who is Lee's all-time favourite Arsenal player? And there's a player that I keep crying over that we never got back, that we sold for pennies. Who is the player that I am still upset about? Who is it? Who's the player that I cry over that's left the Arsenal? Write it down in the description below. Put your name, the answers, and power bank, and we shall select a winner. And one of you will get that little exclusive. Might put another little goodies in it. Like,
oh God, look! Oh bloody hell! It's like Santa Claus now.
Say like the old popcorn. I don't know yet. We'll put something else in there as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Blimey.
The trouble is, when he does my picture, he makes me look 20 years older.
Right, lads. It was all kicking off on Twitter earlier about the new manager. Bookies have slashed the odds on Mikel Arteta to become the new Arsenal manager. I think the last time I checked, he was 2-7 on to become the next Arsenal manager. We're going to start with Kevin on this one. Kevin, 2-7 on to become the next Arsenal manager. In your opinion, sir, is Mikel Arteta the man to take us forward?
Well, it seems like the board have stuck on him that he's going to be the next man. I think the regime's changed now. I think they're going for more of a coach than a manager. You know, is it the right tack? I don't think it is. But if he becomes manager, I'm going to give him the respect and support him. You know, obviously he's done a year under Pep Guardiola. Is that enough to be able to coach Arsenal? You know, most would agree and say, no, it isn't. But hey, you never know. Sometimes you could go for the best candidate with the most experience and it doesn't work out.
Absolutely.
So, you know, look, whoever they choose upstairs, we have to give the man some respect and some trust. And I know it's going to divide the fan base again, Arteta, because, you know, he just doesn't have the experience. But, you know, we have to we asked for change. So if we're going to get change, we're going to have to back change.
Absolutely. I can't understand why. This is my opinion, and the other boys can come in. We've been campaigning. We've been talking about change for the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, right? We've all wanted change. We've all wanted a new man. So Arsene Wenger's now stepped down, okay? And now people are saying, before Arsene Wenger stepped down, people are tweeting, anyone but Wenger, anyone but Wenger, anyone but Wenger. Right, Mikel Arteta then. Nah, I don't want him. You know, it's a bit hypocritical of everyone. If Mikel Arteta comes in, and this is my opinion, I'm going to let the boys talk about their feelings. If Mikel Arteta comes in at Arsenal manager, he gets my backing and he gets my support. We don't know what's going to happen. We just do not know what is going to happen. Look, there might be clauses in his contract, you know, Mikel, if you don't get us in the Champions League this season, which I think would be a pretty incredible thing to do if he did. You know, then you're out the door and we get the next one. Are we going to turn into the next Chelsea where we're rolling over managers every year to 2 years? You know, I don't know. But all I'm saying is, if Arteta comes in, he gets my support. If Brendan Rodgers comes in, he gets my support. If it turns out to be Allegri, he gets my support. Claude, I know you're not happy that Mikel Arteta is the favourite to take over, but what's your personal feelings on the whole situation?
Well, no, it's not that I'm not happy. It's just that you can't. If you get Arteta in, you're going to get the same old thing again, aren't you? You're not going to move forward. We're not going to move forward. We're going to get the same as what we had with Wenger. And I don't think the players will give him any respect. We need We need change here. We need someone different. We need different tactics. We need a new approach. Yeah, we need to maybe change a lot of our play. Yeah, we need more defensive structure about our team. We need change. We need a top European coaching, not a bloke that's spent 12 months with Guardiola under Guardiola. It's not good enough. Arteta, I'll tell you what would be a good job for Mikel Arteta now is to go to Everton and learn. And maybe in a few years, if he's good, he then comes on to Arsenal. But Everton would be ideal for Mikel Arteta, not Arsenal.
Okay, Lee?
Well, listen, I'm not happy about it. And the reason I'm not happy about it because, it's like, let's be bold was the answer. That it's not, let's be tight is what he should have said. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm telling you that now, right? If you go to somebody like, I'll say Allegri or someone like that, they are top managers, top coaches in this square. They are going to want a budget. And at the end of the day, someone like Mikel Arteta, he's going to just take it whatever because he's, wants to get into it and whatever. It's just a cheap option. And Claude's right, what we're saying here. We totally need a complete change of it. We want someone like, the reason I want Allegri to come in because I watched Juventus play. I was fortunate enough to go and watch them in the Champions League final. Okay, they got beat at the end of the day on that, but they were unlucky. They got beat quite heavily in the end, but there was a structure to the game. They could have beaten Real Madrid that day, and you could see that they was coached how to win a game of football. And they've got to, they've won doubles. They've won. They've got to gone deep in the Champions League. Look how they changed that game against Spurs. They were struggling. They put on a couple of things, changed it around, and when attacking, they got the 2 goals, and then they defended like their lives depended on it. And that is what we want at Arsenal. We've got some great attacking players, and it's not about, I never wanted Wenger out. What I wanted was a team that was going to go and challenge for the title. It's not done that for 3 years, and that was the reason. So for the last 3 years, I've been going up and down the country going, well, hopefully it'll be this year. I want it to be Wenger. I'm really hoping that he can do it. Me and Craig, we spoke about it. That there's nothing more than I wanted Wenger to win the title, to prove everybody wrong. It didn't happen. But then, the one thing that keeps me going up and down the country is because I feel there's going to be this change. And then nothing against Mikel Arteta, they bring him in. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, I honestly think, part of me thinks like they've had a meeting, right? Arsene Wenger's gone into he's up there in the ballroom, like, you know what I mean? I want to stay next season. Well, you can't, Arsene, you can't do it. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get Mikel Arteta in here. He'll completely fuck it up, and you can come back and manage and be the hero, like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what it seems like they're trying to do. And that's a joke, but it seems like that. And we want someone in that's going to be top class. Arsenal football, we've got in this magnificent stadium. We've moved away from Highbury, like, to now get a coach that's never coached. Unbelievable. I don't want to go too deep on it because I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and all that. But for me, it's a no-go.
Harry?
Right, I think everybody just needs to calm down a little bit. First of all, we don't know that it is going to be Mikel Arteta. I know a load of ITKs have been saying it, but these are the same people that said it was going to be Allegri last week. So I'm a bit skeptical of sort of getting too carried away. Mikel Arteta, let's look at him as a manager. Well, there's not much to go by, but he fits the criteria of what Gazidis is looking for. He would be a bold appointment, which is what Gazidis said. He's got a good footballing philosophy. There's no doubt about that. Just from hearing him speak in the past about how he likes the game to be played, and the fact that he's working with Pep Guardiola gives me confidence that he's got the right idea. But from the board's point of view as well, he hasn't got enough clout to challenge them. So, whereas Arsene Wenger could have probably gone in the boardroom if he wanted to and sort of argued against something he didn't believe in, Mikel Arteta doesn't have that sort of experience, that sort of clout behind him to do so. And so I guess the board see him as a bit of a puppet. Like Kevin said, he's not a manager, he's a coach. And that's really important. That is really, really important because in my view, the current structure that Gazidis has spent the last few months putting together with Mislintat, head of recruitment, Sanlehi as director of whatever they call it, but he's actually a director of football. That means that we need a coach and not a manager. And perhaps that has put the likes of Allegri off, or the likes of Ancelotti, because perhaps they're more traditional managers and they want to have control, whereas Arteta would be just handling the football side. I think that's Gazidis' vision for things. But there are some positives as well. He's highly rated, worked under the best manager in football, in my opinion, for I think the last season or so now. And he knows Arsenal Football Club. Look, he wouldn't have been my number one choice. There's no doubt about that. I'd probably put 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe even in front of him. But I'm not going to give him criticism until he fails, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think, we did want change, like you said at the very start, Craig. Everybody wanted change. So now we kind of have to swallow it and just hope that the board know what they're doing. It's difficult, but I learned a long time ago with Arsenal not to get worked up about stuff that hasn't happened yet. Absolutely.
I mean, the fella tweeted me today, why are you so pro Mikel Arteta? I said, I'm not pro Mikel Arteta. I said, in fact, I hope it's not Mikel Arteta. No disrespect to the man. But all I'm trying to say is to people on Twitter and to people watching, and if it's Arteta, it's Arteta. We can't do nothing about it except get behind him and get behind the team next year. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Can I just say one more thing, Craig, as well? Yeah. Sorry, one more thing I forgot to say. I see why everyone's concerned because, whereas Manchester United, for example, when Fergie left, they were the champions. They brought in David Moyes. It wasn't the correct appointment. They then went down the Louis van Gaal route. And now they've seen that they made 2 mistakes and they've thrown 300 million at transfers and got Jose Mourinho in order to get them back to sort of second in the league. The reason it's so important for Arsenal to get it right is because Stan Kroenke is not going to throw 300 million at a mistake. So, this could go really tits up, to be honest.
Very good point, mate. Very good point indeed. So I think we can all agree that we all would like to see Allegri or a manager with a bit of clout coming to manage Arsenal. Now, we're going to go to a few questions because time is passing us by again really, really quickly. Kevin, let's come to you on this one. Question in from John Maguire, and he says, on hearing that Jack hasn't made the World Cup squad, do you think he deserves a place in the England team?
I thought Jack earlier on in the season did, but the way Jack's performed of late, I think it's very difficult for him to get into that squad. Fitness-wise, form-wise, he hasn't been at the races, if we're honest. And totally. I truly believe there's better options now out there than Jack Wilshere. And unfortunately, I think he is going to miss out.
But Jack Wilshere being out of the England team is not all bad. That gives Jack Wilshere a full summer. He can have a rest, recharge the old batteries, get back to his old self, hopefully. Claude, what do you reckon about Wilshere being left out?
You know what? I think it's a little bit hard. Although I think for Arsenal, for England, I'm not sure because if Livermore gets picked, he's surely better than Livermore, isn't he?
Well, I think he's better than Fabian Delph as well, who's going in his place.
So that I can. But as I said earlier, as far as his Arsenal career is concerned, there are issues now with his fitness and his fitness level, whether he can now perform at this top level again, which is very sad for me because I really wanted this kid to really come along because he's a very talented player, but I'm afraid I think maybe he's had one injury too many.
Yeah. This one comes in from Mark Gunner Runner. This is absolutely brilliant. I'm going to have to come to you. I'll have to come to you all for this one. We'll start off with Harry. Harry, Mark wants to know if you could have swapped hanging on against Barcelona in 2006 and being the first London team to win the Champions League, or being invincible in 2004, what would you pick?
I'd pick the Champions League. I'd pick the Champions League. I've always said that that's the one thing that would make me happier than anything, you know, Arsenal to win the Champions League. So it's very tough. It's a tough one, but I'd go for the Champions League, I think.
What about the judge?
Well, tough question, but 0-4. Title, always title.
Always title. Kevin?
0-4. Not even close.
Yeah.
Interesting. Claude?
Well, no, I would take one defeat to won the Champions League in the 2004 season. I think people make too much of this unbeaten. I think you still win the title, whatever. Look, Man City lost 2 and got 100 points. That's a better achievement, isn't it? So I think people make too much of it. I think I would rather win the Champions League and take one.
I've got to agree with Harry. I've got to agree with Harry and Claude. Go on, Kevin.
Claude, I can guarantee you, Manchester City were trying with all their might to equal that Invincibles. Let me tell you, they were trying everything, but it's hard. It's such a hard thing to do. Look, Barcelona tried it the other day, and they got done on the last day of the season.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was an incredible game. So you know, we are the only team now who's done it.
Yeah, I agree. What you don't understand, surely 100 points, record amount of points, is better than being unbeaten. I don't know, but I mean, I'm.
Listen, Claude, Chelsea won the league with 95 points, and they're never ever talked about in the way the Invincibles is, and nor will this Man City team. They say 100 points, it don't matter. They lost 2 games. End of. You know what I mean? Like Arsenal in '91 lost 1 game, never talked about because they lost 1 game.
Lost 1, yeah.
If they hadn't done that, they'd be talked about till this day now. You know what I mean?
I think
no, it's wrong. I'm sorry, but that is wrong because if you think about it, 100 points, no one will. That is a bigger achievement to get 100 points, 32 wins, in the season. That's a lot more points than what the Invincibles. All right, we got a lot of draws and all that, in that year as well.
But never got beat, Claude.
Eh?
But never tasted defeat in the league. That's the harder achievement.
I know what you're saying, Kevin, but come on, are you telling me, right, you wouldn't take 1 defeat that season?
No, it wasn't a trade-off, Claude. It's either you win the league or you win the Champions League. You're not winning the league and then winning the Champions League.
No, I thought the question was, could you take 1? Sorry.
No.
What would you have preferred to have happened? Would you have preferred that we hung on in 06 and won the Champions League?
Or the Invincibles?
Would you prefer being invincible?
The win, no, it's not that. If it's just about winning the league, the league is the best. As Brian Clough said, winning the league is the biggest prize for me.
That's it.
Over a whole season, you win it over. But it's not about whether it's unbeaten or whether you've got 100 points.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it, the deciding factor for me is, as an Arsenal fan, I've seen Arsenal win the league, but I haven't seen Arsenal win the Champions League. So that's what it is for me. That's what
I'm with Harry on that one.
Swing that way a little bit.
I am with Harry on that. I look at it like Harry's looks at it. I've seen Arsenal win the league,
but the Premier League to me is harder to win because you've got to win it over 38 games.
Oh yeah, absolutely, mate.
Agreed. It's league every time for me.
Yeah. I just agree with Harry because I'd like to see Arsenal lift the Champions League. I've seen them lift the league.
Yeah, but Craig, I'll give you an example. This year, the Champions League is going to be won by 2 sides that are not even in the top 2 of their leagues.
True. True. I get it, mate. But the prize at the end of the day is Champions of Europe.
Yeah, but then Chelsea won it. When Chelsea won it, they finished 5th in their league. You can't tell me they were the best team in Europe that year.
Well, they were because they won the Champions League.
No, that was lucky, Craig. Come on, what I mean?
Luck is involved in football league. They lifted.
But in the league, the best team wins
the trophy. They were champions of Europe. You can't take it away from them. It doesn't matter who they played. It doesn't.
How comes Manchester City didn't win the FA Cup this year?
How comes we didn't win the FA Cup this year?
Because I'm talking about Man City. Manchester City are the best team in the league. How comes they didn't win the FA Cup? Because you have to have a little bit of luck. But they won the league. So they are the best team in the league. They got someone sent off a bit harshly in the game. They ended up losing the game. That's what can happen in the Cup.
Craig, listen, who's a better team? Liverpool. If Liverpool win the Champions League, who's been a better team? Liverpool or Man City this season?
Man City, because they won the league.
Exactly. So then you proved my point, didn't you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the whole euphoria though of winning a Champions League, a European Cup, a final, and all that. But beating a glamorous side like Real Madrid or Barcelona along the way, like for me, that's the one thing that
you're wasting your fucking time, Harry. Absolutely wasting.
Listen, it's 3 of us against 2 of you. We've won 3-2.
Listen, the Champions League ain't what it used to be.
No.
Let's have it right.
Yeah.
It should be, if you really want to boil it down to be the best team, it should be the teams who win the league.
Then, yeah, exactly.
Get back to the old format.
Yeah.
The best against the best. Then you find out who the best is.
Yeah,
but the only problem with that is like you end up with like, and I'm going to pick on Greece as an example because I'm from a Greek background, but like Olympiacos would be in it every year, but probably the 3rd or 4th team in Spain are better than Olympiacos.
So what? Harry, too bad. You got to win your league. That's how it used to be. Yeah. The top team goes into the Champions League.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I would do. I'd do. Better format than that. Get the top 6 European countries, yeah, in rankings, yeah, and play a league system with those over a season, and then make the UEFA Cup a bit more stronger. How about that?
Sounds good to me. A European Super League, Claude.
Oh, that's what I would do, and then you get the best teams in Europe of the 6 top divisions in Europe, yeah, top leagues in Europe. Then teams, actually, you could even put the top 2 of each division, yeah, and play a league system over in midweek system over the season.
But Claude, why only 6?
Eh?
Why only 6?
Get the best teams, then that will carries on.
Yeah, but that ain't fair on other countries, is it?
Exactly.
Eh?
Yeah, well, North's Eurovision.
Yeah, what countries would you choose?
I wouldn't have chosen Israel anyway.
Our Premier League.
Cyprus all the way, mate.
Premier League.
The German League. The Spanish. Italian League.
Italian.
One other.
French.
Oh, you got 2 others.
There's Portugal. That's a bit harsh on the Portuguese sides.
Portugal, yeah. There you go. Look, 6. I'm giving you 6, aren't I?
So you got English, Spanish, French, German, Portuguese,
Dutch?
Italian.
To be fair,
France, the French league. France.
Only clubs from those nations are ever going to get there anyway.
What about the Dutch?
No, the Dutch league is rubbish, isn't it, mate? Come on.
Yeah, but Ajax have won the league. Won the
Champions League. How do you determine? That's the tough thing, you see, Claude. How do you determine who you choose?
Well, what I'm trying to get to, Kevin, we've got to get a system where we've now got a European. We've got the Champions League, yeah, where you get loads of dead rubbers in the group stages, yeah, which is a total, and then you've got the Europa League, which is a complete and utter mess, mate. Because you look at the Europa League, the competition is very, very weak.
Yeah.
So we got to level it out, mate, and that's the only way I can see we can level it out and get a proper two. And that way, I think you'll get the proper team that wins the European Champions League as well, because it's done league based, not any cup.
But Claude, don't you think? Because remember, the teams that drop out of the league stage in 3rd position then go into the Champions League, then go into the Europa. So they are leveling it out.
Yeah, hence Atletico Madrid and Marseille, they're going to go and bloody win it, like, you know what I mean? So.
Trying to say that even makes it even more stupid because you've got losers going into the tournament. Yeah, it's all wrong to me. It's all wrong. I think when we had it before, the way we had it before, roughly, was better. The UEFA Cup used to be a competition, a really strong competition, didn't it? And then
there should still be free trophies.
Yeah, I agree. Cup Winners' Cup was great.
Cup Winners' Cup was good as well.
I think the format's fine. The only thing I disagree with is the Champions League 3rd place going into the Europa. That's the only thing I'd change at the moment.
I'd change it back to its old format.
Yeah, I would. I'd go that.
I like that.
And also, I'd have sports night back and all, like, you know what I mean? That music.
Yeah.
And all that. That's brilliant.
I'd go back to drawing the two teams out of the pot, right? You're playing them over two legs. Who wins goes next through the next round, and we draw the fucking next two teams.
Yeah.
And we keep going and we keep going and keep going until we're left with one.
I'll have mastermind on cup final day.
Yeah.
and cameras on the coaches.
Cameras on the coaches, yeah. Yeah. Did you have that in 93, the coaches and the cameras, Kev? Was that then, or was that gone by then?
No, I think it was gone by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was gone by then.
Yeah. Special day, you know what I mean?
Special days.
Especially, you know
all dayers then, weren't they?
Yeah, all day. Fantastic, like, you know what I mean? All days, and after the cup final, you go out and play football, wouldn't you?
That's right, definitely.
Brilliant.
Throw up in the centre circle.
Yeah.
One thing I must do before we go this evening, because again, like I said, we're running out of time. We done the same old Arsenal Fantasy Premier League this season, and I'm just getting up the table here now. We have a Dominic Moratti who has won it. Congratulations, Dominic! And I did say that I'd get Kevin to say congratulations to you, and when you're going to put your CV in for the Arsenal job.
Congratulations, Dominic. Well done for winning. Listen, all the best, and I hope you can become Mikel Arteta's number 2.
He finished it. I'll tell you what, though, he got some score. He finished it top of the league with 2,227 points.
That's a really good score.
That's good.
Bloody good score, that. Can't see his team, though. And if anyone wants to know, I finished second from bottom. So
well, there you go.
So I finished bottom in our one as well.
Says it all. Says it all.
Bottom. I mean, you know, I'm always there trying to do the bit of studying. Defender scores a lot of goals, and then they might score 10 the season before, and then of course score nothing the season after. It's about my fucking luck, to be honest.
If I'm not in the top 3 by Christmas, I kind of give up.
Yeah, same here. Oh,
Glory hunters, glory hunters.
Yeah. All right, lads. It's been an absolute pleasure having you this evening. End of the season is here. It's over. We have 6 weeks of silence. Well, I suppose we've got the manager to look forward to. I suppose the transfer window opens on Thursday. So you know, who knows?
Craig, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
It's I just want to pay some rest in peace and condolences to J. Lloyd Samuel and his family after he passed. I saw him about 6 weeks ago.
Oh no!
To be honest,
tragic.
And I've only found out obviously today. So you know what a tragic.
Thanks for reminding me, mate. Yeah, absolutely tragic.
Boys, what's happened?
He
died in a car crash, Claude. This morning.
Yeah, after taking his kids to school as well.
37 years old.
Yeah, man. What a waste. So tragic. So tragic.
That's why you've got to enjoy every day as you go.
Yeah,
absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Take it as if it's your last day. Oh, my phone's ringing now, and my computer's ringing and all sorts. So I suppose we've got to, you know, look forward to the next 6 weeks somehow. I don't know. I think Arsenal are playing a few friendlies around the place. Rumour on the street is they're coming to play in Dublin against Manchester City. So I'll be going to that for sure because that's only 3 hours up the road.
Good Guinness.
What more can what more do you want? A big, massive thank you to all of you who have supported us this year.
Yeah.
Through the shit times, through the good times. Thank you very much indeed. I know Lee would probably like to thank you as well. Take it away, sir.
Yeah, thanks for everybody that's contributed to the show and everybody that's listened and all that. It's been great going around the grounds and people coming up to us and saying, we love the same old Arsenal. So thanks for everybody that's done that. It's much appreciated. Very humbling indeed. Yes, and thank you to everyone who has been speaking to Lee. Thanks to everyone who's been a guest on the show. Thank you to Nigel as well, who's been doing the moderating in the chat for me. So thank you very much, Nigel, when we go live on YouTube. My last thing is to thank Claude. Thank you, mate.
Thanks a lot, and it's been a pleasure to be in such great company tonight. Yeah,
absolutely. You're not too bad yourself, mate. Harry, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you very much for doing the extra time videos this season. Hopefully we'll get it. We'll get one after every game next year. I know you're very busy. Harry actually runs his own podcast, the AFC Chronicles. Please go and follow him at Harry Simiyu, and go and follow the Twitter account for the AFC Chronicles as well. Harry, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Cheers,
thanks
Harry.
for having me on board. And
no problem.
Looking forward to hopefully a better season next season. And thanks to Claude and Kevin as well. Spoken to you both throughout the season as well. You've both been great as well. Thank you.
No problem, Harry.
Kevin, thank you very much. This is your second appearance on the Same Old Arsenal podcast. Thank you very much for coming back. It's absolute honour to have you on here, speaking to us all. And the best thing about it is, at the end of the day, just one of the boys, isn't you?
Exactly, just one of the boys.
One of the lads.
Tell you that one of the lads.
One of the lads.
One of the lads that was lucky enough to
have played.
Absolutely.
You know,
Kevin, before you go, Kevin, you fancy Dublin?
It all depends. It all depends, Claude. What time? You know, with my schedule, it's timing. So if the timing's good, let's get it on.
Oh! My last thank you to thank, like I said, I say it every week, the ant to my deck, the laurel to my hardy, Mr. Judges. He's been a bit of a rock to me this year. I've had a bit of a shit year this year, but hopefully now everything's on the look up. Everything is looking up, and we go again next year. So, Lee, I love you.
Thank you very much. Love you too.
Give him a kiss. Give him a kiss.
Thank you very much.
I feel the love. I feel the love. Like, you know what I mean? So it's always been a pleasure, Craigie boy. And, you know, let's all have a lovely summer. And let's all come back, all fresh and raring to go. Like, you know.
I might even have a shave for the next one.
Look at that. You never know. You never know.
And of course, the last thank you to you all. Thank you very much. If you haven't followed us on Twitter yet, please do at the Same Old AFC. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet,
0-0 at the moment between Aston Villa and Middlesbrough in the playoffs. So I'm going to get and have a little watch of that second half. I think, like, you know.
Oh well,
yeah. Me and Coors Light.
You finished.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.
All the best.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, Claude. Cheers, Harry. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
And just before I got rudely interrupted by Lee, while I was just telling everyone thanks and all that, he thinks that everyone wants to know the score against Aston Villa. I don't know.
Yeah. 0-0.
Yeah, we know. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Click the little subscription button down below and give us a sub. We're going to take the summer off. There might be
going on their holidays.
There might be a podcast when we announce a new manager. Who knows? But there probably will be. So I'm probably lying. We might see you again next week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. In 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever that new manager is announced, we'll obviously get together and we'll have a chat about it. Have a nice evening. Have a great summer. Chill out. Next season, we've got to get behind the team. We've got to get behind the players, and hopefully, something will go right for us. The footballing gods will look down on us and say, do you know what? These boys have had enough. It's about time I changed it. Up the Arsenal!
And you Gunners.